Hi Goodwin friends, it is a rainy day in my home art studio, also known as my dining room. And on a rainy day, there's nothing better to do than make art projects. So today, I'm going to show you how we make something called a Zentangle. A Zentangle. This is a super fun art lesson, and it was planned with somebody else. Mrs. B planned this out with Miss Rachel. So a lot of my first grade friends remember Miss Rachel, I'm sure, because she's been coming down to Goodwin from Old Saybrook High School. She's a fabulous artist. She's a senior in high school, and she's thinking about going to school to be a teacher. And because she really loves art and she really loves kids, she was interested in helping out in the Goodwin art room. And I think being an art teacher is the best job in the world, so I'm hoping Miss Rachel considers being an art teacher. So Miss Rachel and I have been chatting about a fun art project for you guys to do while you're at home. And she had the great idea to learn about Zentangles. Zentangles are when you take a shape, and I'm going to add to my picture. I have an egg shape, and I have a heart shape. Let's see. It's very hard to open a marker with one hand. There we go. You take a shape, and Mrs. B is left-handed, so I have to switch over. And you draw any shape that you like. So I'm going to draw a triangle. And then inside your shape, you make the squiggle to break it up into parts. So this is just a miniature one. That's my big one right there. You can make a Zentangle with anything you want to use that you can draw with. You could use a pencil. You could use a pen. I'm using Sharpie pens. You should definitely check with your parents before you use these if you have them at home. And I always put the paper underneath to protect the table because sometimes they bleed through your drawing paper. So the reason I'm using Sharpie pens is because I want to paint my Zentangle after I'm finished. But you certainly don't have to paint. You can use different colored markers. You could use crayons. You can use whatever you want. So you're going to start by drawing any shape you like and making a squiggly line inside. Then you're going to move it to the side, and you're going to start thinking about the different kinds of lines you know how to make. When we started our year in art class in Goodwin School in first grade, we started by learning about lines. And you guys probably remember we learned about zigzags, we practiced loopy lines, plain straight lines. This one I made out of little tiny up and down lines and little tiny across lines. Those are vertical and horizontal. Vertical lines and horizontal lines. We have the wavy line. Somebody invented this one this year. I don't remember who it was, one of you first graders, and we called it the train track. And I really like this one. And last year, a first grader invented this one, and we named it Sharks in the Water because it looks like little shark fins. So you're going to practice your lines after you made your shape. Then once you've practiced your lines, you're going to bring your shape back over. And you're going to fill your shape in with different kinds of lines. So I'm going to fill this part with straight diagonal lines. And I'm going to fill this part in with, I think I'll do waves. So I'm filling the whole space. Now this is a bigger space, and I'm thinking I'm going to fill it with zigzags. So I'm going to zigzag all throughout the entire shape. Zentangling is a really fun thing to do because you can make it look however you want, and it really is a very nice calming thing to do. So when you've finished your shapes, if you want to do something extra special, and I'm thinking I do, you can fill each section in with paint if you have paint at home to use. You can also ask a grown-up to put just a tiny drop of food coloring in some water, and that will also work like watercolor paint if you don't have watercolors at home. You could also take markers, and you can use a marker to color if you used a Sharpie pen on top. If you don't have a Sharpie at home, but you do have paint, a black crayon will also work. So your job today is to make a shape, make a squiggle inside your shape to break it into sections, and then fill each part with beautiful different lines and shapes and patterns to create your own Zentangle artwork. And if you want to email me a hello to Miss Rachel, I will pass your hello on to her too, because just like you, Miss Rachel is doing all of her work from home on her computer. But she's a high schooler, so I bet she's doing lots and lots of work, and a nice picture of a Zentangle would probably brighten her day. That's all I have for you today. I look forward to seeing your beautiful Zentangle-filled shapes, and I hope you have fun practicing those lines that you learned at Goodman back in September and October. Miss you very much. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye for now.